If you were to fight in-game Shigaraki in your prime, would you lose? If Shigaraki uses Decay, he might give me a little bit of trouble. But would you lose? Nah, I'd win. This is what All Might tells Midoriya after he is asked about who'd win, him or Shigaraki. Though to be fair, All Might's personality is not like this. He is a wise man and wouldn't want smoke the same way as Gojo did, but let's assume that Prime All Might versus in-game Shigaraki was the climax of My Hero Academia. Who would win? Welcome all returning members and newcomers. If you're liking the content so far, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and follow me for memberships. My name is TK. Let's get into some anime. Now I know what you're thinking. There's no way All Might can actually win this. We know that thanks to body modification, Shigaraki's abilities exceeded those of both All Might and For All For One at their prime. Even when his quirk was nullified, he was still an absolute monstrosity, which means that his physical stats were also absolutely maxed out. We know that Prime All Might is the pinnacle of physical prowess. Well, Shigaraki himself has implied in chapter 362 that he is in the same tier as Prime All Might. The official guide also says that Shigaraki's physical ability is on the same level as Prime All Might. He was also able to actually dominate Midoriya even when Midoriya was at 120% one for all. It was so crazy that Midoriya ultimately had to break Shigaraki from within by transferring one for all. Exactly. Shigaraki was exceedingly more broken and powerful than All For One ever was. Which makes sense as both Shigaraki and Midoriya narratively outscale All For One and All Might. But let me point out that All Might still wouldn't have lost a physical clash. Shigaraki is at the same level, but he's not physically stronger than All Might. However, what makes him so dangerous is the extensive list of quirks he has at his disposal. This K itself makes him a nigh impossible challenge, but then he also has all the other quirks he gained thanks to All For One. Even if we don't count the ones that Shigaraki ultimately loses, like New Order or One For All, there's still super regeneration that allows him to regenerate as naturally as he breathes. He regenerated from Endeavor's Hellflame as if it was a firework. There's Search, which is basically clairvoyancy in the sense that it allows him to observe up to 100 victims at the same point. It also lets him see their weaknesses. And even after super regeneration and Search, we have Air Cannon that lets him blast pressurized air from the palm of his hands. There's Wing that lets him grow black wings and fly. Not to mention other quirks and abilities, like the one which also lets him disrupt radio waves, or the one with the black tendrils which he used to stab Endeavor and Bakugo. There's also Black Lightning and that repulsion attack quirk. Plus, we have Spring-like Limbs, a quirk that lets Shigaraki coil his muscles and enhance his physical stats, kinda like what Luffy does with Snake Man. Now, of course, we aren't going to cover every quirk, but there is another one that deserves a mention. It's called Danger Sense, and it's one of the quirks that Shigaraki stole from Midoriya. It works like observation hockey in the sense that Shigaraki can sense danger in advance and react accordingly. Guys, this is the thing. Even if All Might won't lose in a physical clash, Shigaraki has more than enough hacks powers to destroy All Might. Remember, Shigaraki is All Might, plus All For One and more. Decay is the kind of ability that lets him one-shot his opponents, so unless All Might teams up with Aizawa, he'd have to make sure that he doesn't come into contact with Shigaraki no matter what. But you and I both know that this is not realistic. All Might can't win without punching Shigaraki. But even if he punches Shigaraki, the damage is going to be minimal because of super regeneration. And what makes it worse is that every time All Might hits Shigaraki, he'd risk getting touched by Decay. Talk about a bad matchup. All Might's abilities include super strength, super speed, super durability, and super stamina. But Shigaraki also has all of these things, right? He is as strong as All Might, as fast as All Might, as durable as All Might, and also has enough stamina in the tank he'd need to win against All Might. Do note that Shigaraki is not going to turn this into a slugfest. All Might won't have a chance but to rely on his punches and speed because that's his ability, but Shigaraki can use Decay or Air Cannon or Rivet Stab or any other long-range attack at any time. Shigaraki can also use Danger Sense and Search to make sure that he doesn't get hit by All Might. But even if he gets hit, he can use super regeneration to recover. Yeah, that sounds awfully pessimistic for All Might when you think about it, but I wouldn't rule out a possible victory for All Might just yet. As strong and as broken as Shigaraki is, he also has one major weakness that All Might can easily exploit. The weakness is Shigaraki's head. In chapter 412, Shigaraki tells Midori that if he is smacked head-on with enough intensity, then he may not be able to pull himself back together. This is it. This is something that All Might can also use. The entire battle will come down to one decisive strike, but that's also rather poetic, because All Might's fights are always single decisive strikes. Well, here's how it's going to go. Everyone else is down. All Might alone is the last hero still standing. A malevolent grin appears on Shigaraki's face as he braces himself to dust the mightiest enemy he'll ever face. The entire battlefield is already a wasteland. Everything around the two of them has sort of already decayed, but amidst all of that debris, All Might is standing as a symbol of hope and justice. His body crackles with raw power as he channels One For All to its absolute maximum potency. All Might knows that a 100% One For All punch would easily get tanked by Shigaraki. Even 120% may not be enough to deal a lethal blow, even if it breaks through. But what about 200%? That sounds impossible, but there may be a way to pull it off. As All Might braces himself and channels One For All throughout his entire body, his muscles bulge and veins pulse under his skin. He takes it to 120%, but that's the extent of his physical limits. It's physically impossible to go beyond that. However, in that moment, All Might makes the ultimate choice. He clenches his fist and jumps straight towards Shigaraki. Shigaraki braces himself to counter with decay, but the pressure emanating from All Might's incoming onslaught catches him off guard. Shigaraki realizes that the incoming attack is much stronger than he had ever expected. And just like that, All Might pulls up right before Shigaraki and punches him with the depths of his body and soul. The punch destroys Shigaraki's super regeneration and blows away a quarter of his head. It was his technique, One For All, United States of Smash at 200%. As far as how he did it, right before he hits Shigaraki, All Might further powers up his attack by using his own life fumes. And now that the punch has landed, All Might's body begins to tear apart and his soul starts fading away. Shigaraki was still conscious, so he made sure to touch All Might with his decay, but surprisingly enough, the moment Shigaraki touched All Might, he clenched onto Shigaraki's hand. All Might's body starts decaying, but he pulls his already done fist back for another punch. He knew in his heart and soul that he had one more strike left. With a mighty cry, All Might lands his final punch straight on Shigaraki's head. By the time the punch lands, his soul has already faded away, but the impact was very real, and it was real enough to destroy Shigaraki's defenseless body. This is it, guys. This is what would happen if Prime All Might fought Shigaraki at the end of My Hero Academia. The best case scenario with both of them dying, but even so, even if All Might loses the battle, let me once again tell you that he will win the war. Now, what do you guys think? Do you guys agree or do you disagree? Do you think All Might would win? Do you think it would be no diff? Do you think it would be Shigaraki? Let me know. But come on, guys, let's continue this conversation in the section comment down below. Make sure to also like, comment, and subscribe. It helped the channel keep going a lot, and see you guys next time. This TK.